Well, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is in Beijing for talks with his Chinese counterpart. The meeting comes 1 week before President Trump is scheduled to visit China. The US is pressing Beijing to help convince Tehran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. China buys more Iranian oil than any other country, but dueling Iranian and US blockades of the Strait of Hormuz have cut all flows of fuel. Katrina is in Beijing with more on Araghchi's visit.
His first in-person visit, although he has spoken to his Chinese counterpart Wang at least 3 times over the telephone since the conflict began. We know that that meeting has now started here in Beijing, and front and center on the agenda will be 2 things: maintaining the ceasefire and also reopening the Strait of Hormuz. 2 things that China wants and has been very vocal about. And we know since the beginning, since the US has put its naval blockade on Iranian ports, China has been very critical of that, calling it dangerous. But increasingly, Beijing has also been critical of Iran's decision to continually close that vital choke point. Now, one thing we do know is that Beijing will be talking to Iran about, if it does close the Strait of Hormuz, what kind of support it will be willing to continue to offer Tehran. Iran would need Chinese backing, for example, at the United Nations to continue to block any action that would, for example, put any additional sanctions on Iran because of its closure of the strait. And you also mentioned next week it will be the expected visit of Donald Trump. So the timing here is also very important. Reportedly, the Iranian Foreign Minister is looking for clarity from Beijing as to what Beijing will put on the table when it does meet with Donald Trump, whether Beijing will be making any concessions to Washington that will potentially make Iran nervous. And China also, in return, wants its own assurances that Iran won't act in any escalatory way or any dramatic fashion in the lead up to that very important meeting.